The spending of a whole night of the Homa Bay residents in Raila Odinga Stadium in Homa Bay was nothing other than a sign of poverty. I know many people might come with controversial statements to declarify my analysis, but let me tell you one thing. We should not stand up on arms against those people who did sleep there. Tell me, who in their right mind would be having a wife, a good bed to sleep on, some good meal to take, and children to see in the evening, or even just having a better place to put his head, shelter, would just walk from that house and go sleep in the stadium on the eve of Madaraka Day that happened 1st June 2025. And I see some leaders trying to woodwink Kenyans that it is for the love of Raila Amolo Odinga that these people went there. Okay, fine. In terms of psychophancy, I also believe there's a certain percentage of people who went there because of that. But also that is telling you the levels of poverty in the region or in the country. Now, those from other regions who think that the people in Homa Bay did wrong to sleep in the stadium, what do you partake of our mothers, our grandmothers, our women who line up the whole day in the scorching sun just to be given one gorogoro of maize, of beans, or whatever cereal they're being donated to? You know, all these the government is doing is a calculation of moves. Political moves are being calculated here. And what I can tell you, the Ruto's regime have successful conducted a re-engineering of Kenyans back to the tribal mindset and tribal cocoon. How? You see, when the economy is very poor, when the economy is not running well, it affects your pocket as a Kenyan. Therefore, you might not be able to afford some very basic commodity like food, shelter, even healthcare and education. So when you are impoverished, then the government comes with a move in central Kenya about empowerment. If I may ask, is it only the people of Mount Kenya that need empowerment? Why is that empowerment not taken to the rest of the country? Don't you see this as a move to try and secure the mountain, because they know so much that already the mountain has depopulated William Samuel Ruto, the president. Now, the best they can do is to make sure that they disintegrate the votes. They destroy the votes. And one move they're gonna use is this. One, as you see in these so-called empowerment meetings, you'll be required to write your name, your ID number, your phone number. Your ID number, the government has machinery. You can be easily deregistered in the IEBC register. And on the day of you voting, you may just find yourself as not a voter. Two, it is in the meetings of those who are criticizing the government, just like Rigathi puts it, they take a specific group of youth because they know unemployment is an issue. They tell them, go disrupt this meeting. We shall give you a certain amount of money. And after doing that, they know so well these youth are going to use these monies to go and take some illicit brew. Slowly by slowly, the D-Day of elections, instead of voting, they'll be addicted to the illicit brew. It seems like a stupid analogy, but if you look at it keenly with the third eye, then you will know these are facts that I'm speaking.
vijana yetu anampatia pesa, muwapatie watupe mawe. Nyinyi ni wajinga kiasi gani? How foolish are you, members of parliament from this region? William Ruto is laughing at you. The people from his community, he takes them to the military, to the police, to NYS, to KRA. Lakini watoto wa mlima, chukueni, wapatie pesa, watupe mawe, wapige viongozi yao. Wakimaliza na hiyo kupigana, wachukue hiyo pesa wakakunywa nini?
Apart from what Rigathi is saying, I'll go back to say that poverty is the common denominator that we are fighting here. The other day, we saw preoccupied paying some Luhya leaders in Kakamega to dance for him. You dance first, then you get paid. What kind of mentality is being set? What kind of mentality? And remember, as I promised, I told you, it was a setup to have 41 tribes against one tribe, which is the Agikuyu. Especially after the Gen Z movement. You know, when they impeached Gachagua, they knew they were done and dusted, and in 2 weeks, Gachagua will be a thing of the past. They didn't know they were creating a monster that will be so expensive to try and fight. Right now, a year and a half is passing. Rigathi Gachagua is still very dominatory in the politics of Kenya. He has taken the kingpinship of the mountain. He's leading the mountain. And now, we see our brothers from the Luo Nyanza and our brothers from the Gima or the Agikuyu. There are so much animosity online, tribal animosity. Your guess is as good as mine. At least, they say, we were unable to convince 41 tribes to fight one tribe, but at least we are able to have the two being antagonists. But let me tell you, William Samoei Ruto, with the support of Nyanza, have you ever heard that Raila Odinga became the president? Therefore, just know, the Nyanza region will always have their say, but the Gema will have their way. This is purely political. We are now not talking about morals here. There are things you do that are morally right, politically wrong. Some are morally wrong, politically right, and vice versa. Therefore here, it's purely politics. And if I talk about tribalism, who told Kenyans that if someone is speaking their native language, then that is equal to tribalism? I see people try to bash Gachagua because of speaking in Kikuyu language. By the way, if you want to speak to your people, the best language to use is the native language, because you will be, if you speak the language of the people, you will be speaking to their hearts. But if you speak to them in any language, you'll be speaking to them in their minds. You see, if you need a message to be driven at home, how many of you, when you listen to music from your native language, you rise up the chair, you feel so touched, isn't it? Because it is speaking to your heart. Speaking Swahili and English, which is the national language, doesn't mean it is the only form of unity. Unity can be done even by speaking that native language.
Nataka kukuambia Rigathi, mimi nashukuru wewe ndio genuine. Wewe ndio unaleta Wakenya pamoja. Hii upande ingine hawaleti Wakenya pamoja. Wanadanganya. Watu wawili wamewekwa mfuko, wanatembea pamoja wakikula Kenya mzima. Wewe umejitolea muhanga. Nilikuona Machakos, nimekuona kule, umetutuma kule Kakamega. Endelea kuleta Wakenya pamoja. You are the only genuine person who can bring this nation together, because you mean well na unaongea ukweli. Endelea kuleta Wakenya wote pamoja na ukweli.
The education system has been interrupted. The medical system has been interrupted. All for the benefit of one man, William Samoei Ruto and his cronies. Kenyans, don't you forget about what happened back in 2007. The post-election violence. Gachagua warned about this. And it brought a lot of uproar even in the National Assembly. And all he was doing was to caution William Samoei Ruto. We all know the composition of IEBC by now. That is enough to tell you the plans. Oscar Sudi once said that even if the votes will not be enough to have President William Ruto re-elected in office, they will top up, meaning they will rig the elections. That will be going contrary to the will of the people of Kenya. It will make elections not viable. It will make elections meaningless. It will be democracy under attack. It will be democracy under siege. Therefore, women and gentlemen of status in this nation, when you go to a school, a public school, when you look at those children, you are not going to tell this is a Luo, this is a Kikuyu, this is a Kalenjin, this is a Kisi, this is a Samburu, this one is a Taita, this one is a Digo, this one is a Kamba. You are not going to tell that. When you go to these international schools that the politicians have taken their children to, you will not be able to tell that. Therefore, the political class, the political elite did unite after the 25th June because they knew their food, which is the common mwananchi, is uniting. And if they fight themselves, they're going to lose their food. So they united to make sure that they control their food. That is why you see Raila Odinga working together with William Samoei Ruto. What does this tell you? It is a generation of old guards with the greed-driven intentions. They are not really towards helping any Kenyan. Therefore, my plea today is to you, the good women and gentlemen of our nation. Don't be swayed. Don't be taken aback. The government has done much to destroy this nation. William Samoei Ruto's regime has done the worst that we expected. And it is continuing to do the worst. If you oppress the people, they will turn to kindly government helpers. And when you turn into that government helpers, serikali saidia, then that is how they get hold of you. They will drive you and control you like a remote control does in an electronic set. Therefore, let us unite. They have succeeded in these, but still we have so much of us who are upright and thinking. We cannot be divided along tribal lines, along classes. We are beyond that. We can manage this. Therefore, let us not lose focus, because if we go through these, the same poverty that mama is queuing a line to get a gorogoro in the scorching sun is the same poverty that is making those people sleep or spend the night in the stadia. Therefore, nobody is left out in these. The common denominator here is the poverty. What's your take on these? What's your thought? Give me your take on the comment section below. If you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly subscribe and press the notification button. So anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Halif is my name for the unscripted talks here in Dub Radio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wabarakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, DAB Radio ndio mpango mzima.